So everybody understands that? Any questions? Anybody understood? Why excessive force?
What constitute?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Can anybody answer that question? Why excessive force? Just unmute and answer.
Program I talked about, and this. Look at Nicholson. That was a nice fake by Nicholson. And again,
I think because he didn't go for the ball, he just went directly to the player. So that's why I think it's excessive force.
Okay.
And also we definitely have to remember, I know it doesn't show it on that particular video, but that unsportsmanlike call was caused by a previous play. It was caused by a previous play by those same two players, and that one particular player went back after team A player and physically pushed him down. So that's something that the referee crew, if everybody have an opportunity to look over that particular game and look early, like couple seconds early on, you will definitely see the reason why the Canadian player went after the Mexican player.
Thank you, Kendall. Mr. Freddie Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
Do me a favor, please, and explain, because I see here in the chat, why is it excessive force, which is criteria 2, as opposed to criteria 1? Because people in the chat are saying that it was not a legitimate play on the ball, and it was not in the spirit of the game. Why 2 and not 1?
Okay. In 1, a player can commit the unsportsmanlike foul, and it do not have to be an excessively hard foul, by simply not going for the ball when they commit the foul. For example, a player dash off into transition, and that player, the defender grabs the jersey. They didn't go for the ball. It was not a hard, excessive foul. I think in the other instance, the word excessive, all right, excessively hitting the person, or hard foul, in the NCAA term, they call it like a flagrant foul. Very hard. It's physically hard. And that's the difference between 1 and 2. 1 is just no attempt to really get the ball, but dislodges the player, particularly in a transition. The next one, it's just an excessively hard foul. I hope I explained the two differences.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I understood you completely. Does everybody understand now?
Yeah, this is Novel.
Hi.
Go ahead.
In that instant, it could not be legitimate or C1. Why? The player who was fouled didn't have the ball, so it cannot be C1. The player who was fouled was the player without the ball. Okay, so we need to be careful when we're analyzing and giving the criteria, because as criteria 2 states, excessive hard contact caused by a player in an effort to play the ball or an opponent. That's the key aspect right there. Or an opponent. That player who was fouled did not have control of the live ball, but his teammate did. Okay, so we need to be careful when we are breaking down the terminologies, when we look at stuff like this.
Let me just add to that. I think the key word here, who can tell me what the key word here is? Excessive hard foul. Whether it's by the defender or the offender, it's an excessive hard foul. That's the key word. In one, it do not have to be an excessive hard foul. It just can be a foul by holding the jersey. That's not excessively hard in an attempt to stop a play. So the key here in two, criteria 2 is excessively hard foul. Continue.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, thank you, Mr. Freddie Brown. Okay. I see that everybody is understanding. I see yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Good job, everyone. On to video number 4. Again, I will put the link in the chat. That should take you directly there. All right, somebody tell me what y'all see in video number 4. Anybody?
C2.
Pardon me?
C2. I see a lot of C2s. I do the flop. Okay.
Oh yeah, I missed a lot. Ready, your mic is on, don't forget.
Okay, yes. Sorry about that.
Jennifer, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
I would like to address the flop and technical foul, but this is not the session for it. So I will look at the unsportsmanlike, seeing that it is excessive hard contact, trying, well, in an effort to play the ball, but it's still a hard, excessive contact.
For video number 4?
Yeah.
So, tell me that again. Sorry? Hello? Hello?
Could you explain yourself again, sir?
I don't know, he muted himself. Okay, he said excessive hard contact, criteria number 2. Okay. Anybody else? I'm seeing a lot of 2s in the chat.
Hello.
Hi.
Ian Sinkis.
Hi, Ian.
I would say flop. The offensive player did extend his hand, but to me he flopped with it. That's what I see. So I would say a flop.
That a defensive player flopped.
Yes, I would say that because the offensive player extended his hand, made contact, but it was not excessive force, in my opinion.
So in that particular situation,
I would say flop. I would say flop.
What would you have called? If anything at all.
I would call it technical foul because he made a flop.
You would call it technical foul. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Jennifer, I'm here again. Sorry, I got cut off.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, I was saying, if it were a case where we were looking at the theatrics, you know, the flop, then that would be a technical, etc. However, I'm saying that would be a hard, excessive contact by the offensive player in an effort to play the ball. So that would be C2.
Okay, I understand you know. Okay, got you covered. Back in the chat.
Hold on 1 second, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
We keep saying in an effort to play the ball. Where was the ball when the contact was made?
I think I may have used that term to describe what I was seeing, in that he was preparing himself to receive the ball, and inadvertently, or whether it was deliberately, he gave that guy the shove or the knock, whatever it is.
Right, that's why I had asked you to repeat what you said at first, because you said in an effort to play the ball, and I know the ball wasn't around in that particular area at that point in time, but I understood what you said the second time around. I'm seeing some C1s. Can somebody tell me why they're saying C1? Anybody? Any of the C1s? Can you tell me why you're saying C1?
Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
Yes. To me, at that moment, the ball was not yet in his era for him to get the ball. So he had no intention of playing the ball yet, because his teammate had the ball, get ready to pass the ball to him. He was trying to get in the position to get the ball. So he wasn't trying to play the ball yet. Get the ball yet. Trying to get position. You understand that? Is that clear?
Right, you say he was trying to get into position.
Position, right. To get the ball, yes. Yeah.
Yes, okay, I understand you. I understand you. Thank you. All right. Who is? Thank you.
May I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to agree with my colleague who just said that the guy was positioning himself, which was my initial point. However, referring to what Freddie said, let us look at the key term here, which is excessive. Whether it was flop on the other guy's part or not, understanding the rule is an excessive or hard contact. So that would qualify, in my opinion, the situation to fall under C2.
C2, got you covered. All right, in this particular scenario,
may I chime in?
Hello, go ahead.
Giovanni, if you look at the video, the initial call of the officials was just a charging foul. The technical, or the movement towards the technical, because the camera cut, was at the second after that.
Giovanni,
so the technical. Sorry,
I wasn't, you were breaking up just now.
Sorry, looking at the video, the technical was not called at the initial contact that we are discussing. The technical was actually called when he threw the ball, the unsportsmanlike, was not called until after. So is it that the normal charging foul that was signaled by the official was upgraded to an unsportsmanlike? Because if you look at the video, you will see that there were two separate calls that happened, and the signal for the unsportsmanlike came at the second whistle, when all three officials started to make their way on the court.
Wait, hold on, I'm watching it. I was trying to watch it while you were. Right, I see where you said the official called an offensive foul. Yeah.
Yeah. And when the player walked off, I think he threw back the ball. I wasn't seeing clearly what happened. The second whistle was blown, And that is when you saw the officials starting to raise their hand as if they were going to signify the unsportsmanlike.
Right, okay. Now let's take the officials out of, and what they did out of the situation. Because what they did, that is not necessarily irrelevant, but we are here now to determine what should have happened if it didn't, or if it did, it doesn't matter. But we are here to determine now what the correct call is or should have been. So don't mind what the officials did in the video. But you're saying that is a C2. You're agreeing that it's a C2.
Yeah, it would have been a C2, but I was just wondering because if it is that we're looking at the action where the second whistle came in, because that's when they signal unsportsmanlike, then it's a little different that my answer would actually change.
Why would your answer change? Because you're seeing the contact in the video. It's like you put yourself as the lead referee who blew the call.
No, I get you. I get you.
Right. So
no, but I'm just follow me. If they signal unsportsmanlike at the second whistle, then the second whistle would not have been for the contact. So
okay.
That's why I'm trying to understand if that the second whistle was for the unsportsmanlike, was that the unsportsmanlike call? Or is it that we're saying it should have been an unsportsmanlike from the contact, but offensive was called?
What I'm saying to you is I'm not really looking at what the officials did. For this particular exercise, we are the officials for this particular situation. And we are watching it and seeing it. And we are making a decision on what we see. So when you watch the video, you see the elbow to the face. That's what you saw, right?
Yeah.
Right. And at that point in time, if you were the official, you would have blown an unsportsmanlike foul. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, excessive.
Right. And it would have been for criteria to excessive contact, yes?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. I agree with that. That is the answer for video number 4. Someone in the chat said, asked earlier.
So Jennifer, I have a question. Now, now you said the play that we discussed is unsportsmanlike because of the hand in the face.
The elbow to the face.
The elbow to the face.
Yes.
I know we're not. I know this video is going to touch on different rule concept. I know we're talking about technical fouls either tonight, but isn't it that an elbow to the face above the neck consider as a technical foul?
Technical fouls are non-contact fouls. So let's say in that particular situation, he swung his elbow.
Everybody making like that.
And it did not contact the face. And in the referee's opinion, he wanted to penalize the action because it was not in the spirit of the game. The official could have blown a technical because he made no contact. But from the time contact is made, it can no longer be a technical. It has to be an unsportsmanlike foul.
Can Mr. Ryan Alexis mute his microphone, please?
You understand, Kendall? Yeah?
It's difficult. It's difficult though.
Yeah. Unsportsmanlike fouls are contact fouls, and technical fouls are non-contact fouls. Right, so I was reading in the chat, somebody asked something as it related to not being able to call an unsportsmanlike foul on the offensive player. Right, here we go. Was it said last night that a UF can't be called on an offensive player, or would it be a technical foul? Right, so that is for the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and or overtime on the inbound and on an inbounds play. When the ball is at the disposal of the inbounder, that is when that particular situation would be for. You would blow the pen, and again, you have to analyze the action to determine if you would blow the UF, or you would disqualify, or if you would blow a normal foul and the ball goes the opposite direction. That is for the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime period. Yeah. Any other question as it relates to video number 4?
One sec, Jen.
Okay.
Mr. Brown stated earlier that in C2, it doesn't matter whether it's a defensive player or an offensive player, and it stated there, excessive hard contact caused by a player in an effort to play the ball or an opponent. So it doesn't matter whether it's a defensive player or an offensive player. And a UF can be called on an offensive player and a defensive player because that's an opponent. Okay, so yes, an unsportsmanlike foul can be called on an offensive player.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
We are on to video number 5. And again, I would put it in the chat. Oh, whoops. All right, video number 5. Can anybody tell me what they see?
I would say that's C2.
C2.
Sportsmanlike foul, excessive foul, excessive force. He didn't play any ball. He pushed the player on the out of bounds.
Thank you. I see in the chat and C3 due to the transition. Anybody else?
Chajak, St. Lucia, I would say a C2. Excessive eating.
Thank you. I see 2 more C3s.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Orion from Barbados.
Good night.
Thing is, he doesn't even look like he was going for the ball. He just looked like he speared him on. So I would say a C2.
C2. Thank you. I am seeing a C1.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm saying C3.
C3. Why?
It's a necessary contact caused by the defender initially, or just stop the progress of the offensive.
Okay. There was no legitimate attempt to play the ball within the spirit and intent of the rules. That is the person that said, one of the people that said C1. I see another C1, and I'm seeing some C3s coming in. Player was in transition. Anybody else want to chime in? Seeing another C3.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Hi, I would say C3 because the intention of the defensive player was to stop the progress of the offensive player, of the offensive team really in transition. So that's why I would say C3.
C3. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello.
Hi, good night.
Hello.
Good night.
Yes. I would say six because his attack was excessive and yes, he may be happy trying to stop the transition, but the contact itself was excessive and hard.
Thank you. C2. All right. C3 should also be called since there was an unnecessary contact caused by the defensive player in order to stop the progress of the offensive team in transition. So, wait, did this person say C1 earlier? All right, so, okay, so for this particular situation, it is excessive contact, so that would be C2. Can everybody understand why it's a C2 and not a C3?
No. No.
No, you don't see why it's a C2 and not a C3?
No.
Because of the excessive, and the word again being excessive contact.
But the intent of the defender, when you look at the video, and you look at the video in the entirety, not just at the contact, and that's what we have to start doing, not just looking at the contact, but look where the defender.
Let's stick it right there.
No. We have to look with what the defender was doing to cause the excessive contact.
Right. So, Freddie.
Yeah, I'm in.
Because you have your rules up, can you scroll up to the beginning of Unsportsmanlike foul, please? Oh, wait, it's here. Wait. Scroll down. Come down.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Keep going down.
Jennifer.
Hi.
Hold on.
Ian, think it. Even though the intent of the defensive player is to stop the offensive player.
Go, Freddie.
You got it?
No, not yet. Keep going.
He used excessive force, so he had to be a C2.
Right. Wait. Thanks, Ian.
Jenny, this is a photocopy.
Oh, you took. Oh, okay, wait.
Yeah.
No, but you had it at the bottom. Go up.
Okay. Definition?
No, the part where it says that the official must.
The official must interpret the unsportsmanlike foul
by the action and not the intent.
Good. Excellent.
Kendall, you must watch the action. The action is what we are watching.
But if you say in excessive, you're saying that the defender willfully. Oh, okay.
It don't have to be
like Freddie said earlier.
No. Okay.
Yeah. He got it. That's fine.
Okay. But for everybody else, this particular situation, the contact was excessive. We have seen videos up to last night where somebody barely like sticks out a hand and brushes the person, and that was an unsportsmanlike foul because the action was to stop the fast break, and it wasn't excessive. There was no excessive contact, but for this particular situation, the contact was excessive. So everybody understands why it is excessive contact? Yes? Yes, okay, everybody is...
Lovely.
Good. We are on now to video number... What are we at? 6? think we at 6 now. Video number 6. Again, I will put it in the chat. C5. I'm seeing lots of C5s. Can somebody tell me what is happening in this video? Anybody? I'm seeing lots of C5s. I see a C1, C5, C4. Ooh, this one has everybody. I'm seeing 1, 5, and 4.
It's in the last 2 minutes of the final period.
Okay. But is that the only criteria for a C5?
No, it's not.
Okay. So you got to convince me better. Try to convince me why is a C5?
Jennifer, I would go with C1.
Why?
Clearly the defensive player, he wanted to stop the play, so he just held or pushed the offensive player, but it was not excessive force in any way. So it was not a legitimate kind of thing, but you know, just to stop the play. So I would call that C1.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Again, Jennifer.
Hi.
I know we're talking about unsportsmanlike, but in the spirit of the game there, you know, if let us assume it's not a close game, and so would you necessarily call that unsportsmanlike, or you just call that a pushing foul or something?
Okay, we'll stick a pin in that. So we have C1, 5, C1, 5, and 4, and a normal foul.
One question, Jen, sorry.
Go ahead.
Question, C5 relates to the ball at the disposal of the thrower in, okay? Now, in this situation, was the ball already inbounded, yes or no?
I didn't get there yet, Mr. Norval. Jumping the gun, I didn't get there yet. I want people
Jennifer.
to tell me what they're thinking.
Jennifer.
Hi.
C1.
C1,
The intention was to stop the clock and get the ball back into bounds again. It wasn't intentional. It was excessive.
Say that again. It was intentional.
It was not excessive.
Pardon, sorry?
It was not excessive force to say
it was
a sportsmanlike foul. It
you
was
said
just an attempt to get back.
Okay.
You know, control the ball, yeah.
Okay, I understand. Norval, I want people to convince me that is a C5.
Jennifer.
Come good. Tell me why.
Jennifer,
Hi.
I stated C5 because the ball was to be inbounded. It was the intention of the defensive player to stop the game, and the ball was at the disposal, or not at the disposal, was to be inbounded, and the foul was made on the court under 2 minutes.
Okay. Got you. Stick a pin in that. Anybody else? All right, I'll tell you no. It cannot be a C5. Cannot. And this is where Mr. Norval Young was getting. The ball, for it to be a C5, let me read the criteria for C5. It says in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or the overtime period. Yes, in this particular video is within the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. It says the contact by a defensive player on the opponent in the playing court when the ball is out of bounds. Stop. Let me stop right there. When you watch the video, because it says when the ball is out of bounds. So the contact must be made when the ball is out of bounds. And in watching this video, the guy shoots out of bounds, pass, foul. So at that point there, already we can see it is not a C5 because the ball was already passed onto the court, and let's say A2 caught the ball and he was then fouled. So it cannot be a C5. Everybody understands that?
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Awesome. Good. Now we had a C4. Or is when a player is making an attempt or on a fast break and the defensive player hits from laterally or behind with no other defenders between the two of them. So we can already rule that out is not a C4. Everybody has that? All right. What else we had? We had 5. So that leaves us with C1. C1. Not a legitimate attempt to play the ball within the spirit and intent of the rules. Now we've had some questions why not C1 and why not C1 and C2. As you can see in this particular instance, it can never be a C2 because there is no excessive contact, but there was no legitimate attempt to play the ball. Like someone said previously, it was just to intentionally stop the clock. And the player made no attempt to play defense. They just intentionally fouled. So the answer for this particular one is C1.
Strategic foul.
Oh, some person also asked if this can be a normal foul. No. No. Can never be a normal foul. Why? Because it's in the last 2 minutes of the game. The first 38 minutes of the game and the last 2 minutes of the game, you can say it's somewhat a bit different because of these particular rules, especially with teams intentionally trying to stop the clock because they no longer play the ball. They just do whatever to get the clock stopped. No, we still want you to play basketball. So it cannot be a normal foul either. Everybody understands?
What about if because it happens all the time. What about if a player tells you that they want to stop the clock? What about that?
Right. If you tell me that you want to stop the clock, you go and you make a legitimate attempt at the ball. Don't try to stop. You tell me you stop the clock, but you're going to go and hit the player in his back? No. You tell me you want the clock stopped, fine. You go and you make a legitimate, you hit the hand with the ball, fine. I could do that. I could blow a normal foul. But don't tell me you want to stop the clock and go and hit the guy in his back or, you know, on his head or anything like that. You still play legitimately at the ball. Everybody covered?
I got the question.
Pardon?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
You said at least 2 minutes of the end of the game, if a player get a foul, it's unsportsmanlike foul. It's not a normal foul.
It depends.
Even come.
It depends.
It depends. Okay, if the player touch the hand, it's a normal foul. You're gonna blow.
Once they're legitimately playing at the ball.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Anybody else? That call under 2 minutes and 4
Hey, Jennifer. What about if the player is fouling? You're fouling an offensive player that does not have the ball?
But then you can't be making a legitimate play on the ball, so it has to be an unsportsmanlike foul.
Let me just weigh in on that question.
Hand.
Pardon?
Even
Can I
if
weigh in on that question?
okay. I'm going to repeat my question now, Freddie.
Yes, please.
The question is if the defensive player fouls an offensive player that does not have the ball. So it's a play on a non-ball foul. Even if that play is just a ticky-tack foul on the hand, would you still call unsportsmanlike?
Oh, goodness. And we're dealing with the last 2 minutes of play.
Yes.
The rules say judge only the action, not the general intent. And you use the word ticky-tack. So it goes right back then now. In the judgment of the official, what is the action? To say a ticky-tack, that'll be determined by the official on the court at that time. But judge the action at the end of this these 5 criteria. The key word, the ending word is the action itself. And then at the beginning, they say, make sure be consistent. All right. So we need it there or here on that. But that'll be up to the official to determine whether the sport. Now, let me just weigh in here a little bit more. The purpose of the unsportsmanlike to be called in the last 2 minutes of play is really to speed up the game, because in the past, players were just fouling to stop the game, to get a timeout, to say something, etc., etc. So 2 minutes could run into 25 minutes. All right, if both teams do the same thing, keep fouling. So they implemented this rule in the last 2 minutes of the fourth period or fourth quarter, or the last 2 minutes of any extra period or extra quarter, all right, to speed up the play. So if you foul as a defender, all right, while the ball is still live for a throw-in, that foul will be considered an unsportsmanlike foul. So you shoot, all right, and then you get the ball back, all right? So if you foul as the defender, you'll be placing yourself at a disadvantage, because I'm going to get a point or two, and as well as get the ball. In the same scenario, if the defender fouls, it places him, unless it's unsportsmanlike. But I'm saying it's not unsportsmanlike. The defender then commits a normal personal foul. It places their team at a disadvantage. So in this case, once it's not excessive, etc., etc., that foul will be a normal foul, and the ball is turned over to team B. Thank you.
Patrick, did Mr. Brown answer your question?
He did. Thank you.
All right. We're on to number 7. Number 7. Video number 7. And again, I'm putting it in the chat. Anybody? All right, C3, C1, C4, 1, 4.
I go for C3.
C3, 1,
Yeah.
4, 4.
I have a question.
Sure.
In that video, is this considered a fast break situation?
Let me watch it again. I'm going to say no. But it is a transition.
Okay, well, my answer is C3.
Okay.
I would say C3, not a C4, because I believe I saw some defensive players between the offensive player and the basket. And clearly the defensive player was just trying to stop the transition. So C3.
Okay, I see there's a lot of C3s and C4s. So I've just heard from someone about C3. Can we hear from someone why they selected C4? I'm just going to pick a name. So I'm going to say Lugard Mohan. Can you defend why it's C4?
I actually changed my mind and changed it to C3. I selected C4 early and then changed it to C3. Because like the lady said, it's a transition, and there was defenders between the ball and the basket, the opponent's basket. They were also offensive players, so he just wanted to stop the transition by committing the foul.
Okay.
Even though the fella put the ball behind his back, so I mean, yeah, that was like just like a play going fast on him, you know. Yeah, he's trying to stop the ball, but the fella just put a trick on him.
If I may, good night. I went with C1 because following the play from before, it was the same player that went for a rebound and didn't get it. So the foul was, I think, out of frustration. That's why I went with C1. I didn't say C3 because the play wasn't in active shooting, though there was a transition.
Why you said not C3? You said because the player was not.
I went to C1 because from the play before, the same player went contested the rebound and didn't get it, and I think the foul was out of like a frustration, if anything else. So I went with C1 for that one.
Okay.
So because it wasn't in the spirit of the game any which way, he just committed the foul in open court.
Okay. All right. I have C3. For this particular situation, C3. I guess we already got why it cannot be C4. And in terms of C1, it's a fine line, but with the transition, C3.
So grabbing a player hand and not playing the ball is not considered to be excessive?
An excessive hard contact. Grabbing the hand is an excessive hard contact. That's what you're asking?
No, I'm asking if grabbing, well, not his hand, his arm area, and not playing the ball, will that not be considered as excessive?
You mean in terms of criteria too?
Yes.
In my opinion, no.
Why not?
Because it's not a hard foul. It's not an excessively hard foul. You grab the person's arm. You didn't grab the arm and like pull down the person and throw them to the floor. You grab the arm.
Is it safe to say then that it is an unnecessary contact?
There you go.
By just grabbing the arm?
Jennifer, quickly, how do you determine between legitimate and unnecessary? Because you said just now it's a thin line with C1, but the play was in transition. It wasn't a legitimate attempt, but it was also unnecessary. So how do you differentiate the two in this particular play?
Well, for me, like I said before, in this particular way, I sway to C3 because of the unnecessary contact to stop the transition. That is why I am going with C3 in this particular play. C1, not a legitimate attempt to play the ball. And like I said, the transition is what swayed me in that direction over C1. Now, this is just my personal opinion on this one.
Jen?
I'm listening.
In this situation, the key aspect of the entire action is transition. So that's basically where it really comes down to, transition. The team was making a transition from backcourt to front court, and the player basically causes a foul to happen. So hence, transition and C3. That is the key component of the criteria and judging the action in this situation.
So everybody understand why C3? Okay, I'm getting some yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
Awesome. So we are on to video number
Lovely.
8. Number 8, and I just put the link in the chat.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jennifer. I think that it's C3 again. Just trying to stop the transition of the ball. It's not excessive, it's not hard. To me, it even looks like a simple reach-in foul. We're just trying to stop the transition.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And I will point out something else in this particular video. All right, so a lot of people are saying C3. I have a C4.
Why? Why C4 and no C3?
No, I'm saying, sorry. Misinterpretation of my English. In the chat, I have seen somebody put C4. Yes. And we have spoken about C4s and the criteria for C4s on a number of occasions tonight. So this particular video cannot be a C4.
Jennifer, that's C4 the arrow.
Hi.
It was the arrow.
Oh, it was an
That's
error.
that's C4 arrow. Yeah. I corrected it.
Oh.
I pressed
Okay.
it wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
A boy from St. Kitts.
Jennifer, roll again. In this instance, right, was the contact enough to stop the play? Because from the video, it just looked like the play just had a handout and the offensive player was passing at the same time the referee blew a whistle. So yes, it C3 because he was in transition, but was it enough to stop the play, or the referee could have allowed the play to continue because the offensive team had the advantage?
No. I'm going to answer that and say no. And I was going to point out earlier, like I said, I was going to say something else about this video. You notice that the official had a regular foul and they came together as a team and spoke about it. I'm just pointing out an example of teamwork in this particular instance and helping out each other as officials. I just wanted to point that out. And I even think they went to the IRS system, which I don't think is or at least it's not in Barbados. If you have the technology to use, you can use it if you need to. But the biggest picture, the big picture is the game, and to get the game correct in helping out each other.
Jen,
go ahead.
If you do run back the video, you would see when the foul was called, the C referee went straight to unsportsmanlike. He didn't even hesitate.
Okay. Good. Again, helping out each other. But right, so like we've been through so many times, C3. The transition. It was just a foul to unsportsmanlike foul to stop the transition. And everybody understands why it was a UF C3. We're going to, I see a question, what time are we ending tonight? I'm going to quickly, because we are at, what's this, number 8? So we at number 9 now. This is number, we're at number 9 now, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Or did I skip a video? I skipped a video, that was number 9. I think that was number 9 that I just put in. We're gonna finish shortly because they only have like one more video to go. Right, that was video number 9. So let's go back to, well, I put number 9 in the chat. But number 8, that's why I probably said what I said about the IRS and normal foul and stuff like that. So that was my mistake. I jumped the gun. But number 8 as well, if you watched it, which you should have, because that's what most people answered, is a C3, stopping the transition again. That's what that is. And number 9, the same thing. And like I said, the official, if you watch number 9, you will see that the official had a regular foul at first. And then they came together, they discussed it, they watched the ARS, and then they changed it. So everybody got a chance to watch video number 9. For number 9, sorry, you don't have the link for number 9. Let me put that in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna put it in now. Video number 9. There you go, that's video number 9. So those are, right. So those are the 9 videos that we had for tonight. And we went through them one by one and discussed the different criteria for each and why it is one and why it isn't another. And I believe everybody would have understood, because they would have indicated that they understood why C3 or C2 and not C4 and C1 and stuff like that. So I believe that everybody would be clear on at least these 9 videos and be able to apply them into your officiating, or, you know, even if you're watching a basketball game and you see them, you'll be able to say, well, yes, you know, we discussed this, is this particular thing, is, you know, the other particular criteria. So that's the 9 videos that I have for tonight. But I want to know if anybody has any questions, any questions as it relates to the unsportsmanlike foul. Nobody has any questions? Everybody's clear on.
Why is
Why is it C3 and it's
unnecessary
contact? Okay, I have a question here. Why? So we're on, is this video number 9 or 8? Because I personally had them mixed up. This is the last video. For the person that asked why is it a C3 or unnecessary contact of instead of deliberate contact. This is for video number 9. No, video 2. Video 2. You have to go back to watch. To watch the video. Right, it's to stop the transition for in terms of video number 2, which is a C3. Does that answer your question for the person that asked? Can a C3 be called on a player not on the ball? Well, it all depends because one of the key words for C3 is transition.
Transition and unnecessary. Okay.
So it depends.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Freddie, I guess that's it for me for tonight. And
Thank you.
I apologize for Mr. Roberto and him not being here, but he had previously said to me that he didn't think that he could have made it, and if he did, he would have been late. But it looks like he didn't get a chance to join us tonight, so I apologize on his behalf.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Good job. And all of you are to be commended. And I will tell you why. Every single person on this Zoom this evening acted as a referee. Now, whether you give your take or not, you had an answer in mind. Whether it was 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, C1, C2, etc. And I said that to say this. You can imagine what a referee have to go through to make that call in a split second, in a matter of a second. And 2, in determining in a matter of second whether it's a 1, a C1, a C2, a C3, a C4, or a C5. And this is what you would go through as a referee. We had them and we went into stages 1, 2, 3 and determined some things. But it took us a little while. And all of us were referees and we gave our answers. So you can see the psychology of officiating and also what the type of game we're playing today. It's a very speedy game, a lot of action, holding, pushing, transition, etc. So well done to all of you. At least you made the call. At least you made a call. So thank you very much. We look forward to tomorrow. Myself and Mr. Christian Wilmore we will be dealing with the block and the charge. Of course, this is a very difficult one for referees as well. And the same thing applies with this unsportsmanlike, whether they're blocking or charging. Thank you very much. I turn it over to our moderator.
Hey, thank you all. The recording will be shared after the meeting. Again, we look forward for your continued participation. Thank you and have a good night.
Peace out. Peace out.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you guys for everything.